I've had a couple of people asking me lately if BDO was a good game. So I figured I'd go ahead and make this video to answer a question that some of you may have. Is BDO worth it in 2025? But before I go over the pros and cons, I do want to mention that currently BDO is free on both Steam and the website. The deal for Steam ends a little bit earlier on January 6th, and the deal on the website ends on January 9th. With that being said, you're also able to purchase other packages of the game for 50% off. Now, let's go ahead and let's get to the pros. To start things off, BDO has one of the most amazing character creations that I have ever seen. It will allow you to make your character as good looking, or as cursed as you want it to. But if you're like me, you're probably going to be spending the most amount of your time at the very start of the game sitting in character creation, whether you're trying to get your character to look exactly how you want it to, or you're struggling to find a good name. But if you don't want to take too much time, there's actually also a beauty album where you can select the highest voted characters for your class within the community, and it will go ahead and copy and paste that look directly to your character. The next thing we're going to be talking about is one of the most important things in an MMO, and that's combat. BDO uses an action combat style system that all around feels really good. It also allows for classes to have very high skill floors, which lets you sink so much time into being able to master your class, whether that's trying to optimize your PvE combo to get the most out of your grind, or decimate other players in PvP. People have tendencies to sink hundreds of hours into mastering both of these, myself included, because we want to be able to make as much money as possible or help lead our guild to victory in fights, whether that's node wars or just random skirmishes between another guild in the open world. Now you're probably wondering, what is there to even do in BDO? Well, BDO is a sandbox MMORPG that lets you do essentially anything. Do you want to be a cook? Or maybe even an alchemist? What about capturing and training wild horses, then breeding them up to a dream horse, or maybe even a mythical horse? Maybe you're wanting something that's just a little bit more relaxed. You could do some fishing, whether that's AFK or active fishing. If I'm being honest, BDO has a lot of life skills that you can dive into. Honestly, there's quite a few that I haven't even done myself yet. From gathering, hunting, fishing, bartering, trading, processing, cooking, alchemy, farming, sailing, and even training, there's honestly something for everyone. The bonus is a lot of these life skills actually coincide with each other, so you can level them all up at the same time. Now the last thing we're going to be touching on our list of pros is going to be the new player experience. Honestly, BDO used to be known as a very hard game for new players to get into, whether it was because they felt like it was going to take them so long to catch up to the other players, or they didn't understand how enhancing and fail stacking worked, or many other things in the game that they just didn't understand because there is so much to try to pick up in BDO right out the gate. And that is still sort of the case, but they have simplified it a lot with the additional of Season Plus, rapidly accelerating the rate at which you are going to level up, and then being able to get gear, whether that's through Tuvala into the new free Pen Black Star that you're going to be able to get one time per family. With the addition of, Agris Anvil as well, enhancing is now no longer a pitfall. For those of you that don't know, in the past, we didn't even know what our chance of success was when we were enhancing. We just kind of swung at it. We didn't know. We just put a fail stack in and hoped for success. But then they made it to where we were able to see our chances of success, and then later on they added the Agris Anvil to make it to where we were being able to build up a pity system just to be able to get our gear, so it wasn't feeling like you were wasting a lot of time on enhancing. Alright, now that we've got all the pros out of the way, let's go ahead and touch on the cons, because obviously there is going to be some, if not many, because nothing is perfect. The number one con that I'm going to put on this list currently is going to be lack of endgame content. Initially, BDO's primary endgame used to be its node wars, conquest wars, sieges, and predominantly open world PvP. But over time that focus has changed, and the current state of PvP is in a very rough and almost non-existent spot. They have been making, changes to this and trying to fix it, but it's still in a really rough spot. And it ends up leaving players at the end game wandering aimlessly because we feel like there's literally nothing for us to do. I mean, Black Desert doesn't have any raids, it doesn't have any real dungeons with the game, so we end up just grinding the same places over and over to ultimately be able to grind them faster. And if you're not the kind of person that enjoys running those circles endlessly, Endgame, at least in the current state of the game, is not going to be the most enjoyable process, but the bonus is it will take you a bit to get to that point. Now, this one personally isn't a massive con to me, but I'm going to add it because I know that a lot of people really dislike gender-locked classes. While BDO does have male and female counterparts for classes, it's not exactly true for all. For example, Warrior has Valkyrie, Witch has Wizard, Ranger has Archer, but then you have Sage, you have Lan, you have Hashashin, you have Dracania. These classes don't have a male or female counterpart, and it just might turn some people off of certain classes or the game because they really like that class itself, but they would like to play as, you know, a male and or female character. And it's just going to vary depending on which class you end up picking. I personally fell in love with Lan. I think she plays amazingly, and I don't care too much that I'm not playing as a male character, even though normally I used to only play like guy characters. I absolutely hated gender lock for the longest time, but I've kind of moved on past it. Okay, now it's time to tackle the big thing that everybody wants to know in just about any game that they go to play. Is BDO pay to win? Yes, there's absolutely pay-to-win items in BDO, whether it is the cash shop tent that allows you to pop combat buffs, drop rate buffs, life skill buffs, or even repair your gear so that you don't have to stop the grind. There is also life skill clothes that you can buy, such as the Pavilla and the Canape outfits, for both alchemy and cooking. These outfits give you a 15% buff and reduced overall time while doing cooking or alchemy by like 1 to 2 seconds. With that being said, while there is these items that you can purchase only in the cash shop, there is also items that are from the cash shop that you can purchase from the central market through silver only. And the game also has tendencies to give out a bunch of these items as rewards. For example, I would put pets on the list for pay to win, but they have given out lots of pets over, recent times, lots of events that we're able to get pets from, and they give pets through the story. Now, the difference between, your tier 5 pet and your tier 1 pet is going to be huge. So if you do end up spending money on pets just to make that experience a little bit quicker, yes, you could consider that pay to win instead of waiting for the events to give you some. But that's kind of where I stand on the pay to win in BDO. I feel it is not as bad as most games. Now, honestly, there are many things that I could have touched on for both pros and cons. These are just some of the ones that I felt were important to bring up. So, do I feel that BDO is worth playing in 2025? Yes, honestly, despite some of the issues, it's worth checking out, especially since you're not really risking any money if you do grab it right now for free, since it is currently on a 100% off sale for the base game. The game's great for new players, and PA has been giving out loads of amazing items, such as free pen black stars, which used to be the best in slot weapon in the game, and even mythical horses, which are the highest tier mount in the game. So I personally say go for it. Thank you guys for watching, and I hope this helped.